Earlier this year, my parents made a big life change and moved from the Northeast all the way over to Arizona. Well, this past November, my family and I took a vacation out west to visit them. Arizona, for the most part, is a very beautiful state with lots to see and do. The one thing, though, I found annoying, which of course being a coaster enthusiast and all, is how little and the lack of quality is their collection of roller coasters. Besides some obscure family kiddie coasters at a fun center or a mountain coaster, the only major amusement park in the whole state is Castles and Coasters. And calling that a major amusement park is a joke in itself because it's basically a family fun center that has grown to the maximum capacity. Their two roller coasters, Desert Storm and Patriot, are passable but yet forgettable roller coasters. When we look at the surrounding area of Phoenix, it is very puzzling that there hasn't been another major amusement park built in this state. According to some recent data I found, mostly on Wikipedia, Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country with a population of 1.6 million. If we include the surrounding metropolitan area, the population jumps up to a staggering 4.8 million people. If you ask me, this population is more than enough to justify another theme park of sorts, and so does the tourism. From what I could gather, they estimate about 19 million people visit Phoenix each year solely for leisure purposes. And speaking of population, make yourself a permanent resident of X-Cream Thrills by hitting that subscribe button, and also do me a huge favor and like this video. To put into perspective, Pigeon Forge, the home of Dollywood, sees about 10 million visitors a year, which is enough to support a thriving theme park. With Phoenix doubling that number, another major theme park should be in the cards, and well, it is. Let's talk about Mattel Adventure Park, a new mostly indoor theme park coming to Glendale, Arizona. The information on this park is very limited and slowly coming out, and the concept art shows us a little bit of what to expect, but the park is showcasing 3 attractions, 2 of which are roller coasters and the other is a giant life-size Barbie dream house. The park does list off a few other attractions, including miniature golf and go-karts, but all in all, this almost sounds like a slightly bigger and better version of Castles and Coasters. The park comes along with a whole resort complex, so there will be lots of stuff to do, but the park itself feels like a half-day excursion. With that said, I still think this will be a successful venture for Mattel, but this park alone still won't satisfy my need for more good roller coasters in Arizona. But its 2 featured coasters will be a step in the right direction. So, you might be wondering, if Castles and Coasters and Mattel Adventure Park are not enough, what exactly am I looking for? Well, as I said earlier, with 4.8 million people living in Phoenix, plus 19 million guests a year, Arizona is more than capable of handling a full-fledged theme park. Arizona features a ton of flat, solid pieces of property that could support a sprawling theme park. The biggest negative factor to this endeavor is the heat. The weather, of course, is perfect with little rain and mostly sun. It really is the heat that will inhibit this project. From mid-May all the way through September, the average temperature is over 100 degrees, which is greater than the most extreme hot days you would find at Disney in Orlando, Florida. Granted, the humidity in Florida is always more extreme than you would experience in Arizona, but when we're talking constant 3-digit numbers, extreme heat is extreme heat, regardless of humidity or not. The one solution would be to just build indoor parks, but there are many problems with this option. First is the cost. Building indoors is way more expensive than remaining outdoors. Next is the additional charge of operating an indoor park. Disney and Universal don't have to pay to air condition their whole park, and you can bet that keeping a massive indoor park at a decent temperature will cost a pretty penny. Finally, building indoors limits your options for expansion. Unless you decide to build an entirely new structure, most indoor parks will never expand, other than swapping out an attraction past its prime. I'm going to propose another option, a hybrid indoor-outdoor park of sorts. The nice thing about a climate with low humidity, standing in the shade will really bring down the temperature. It will of course still be pretty hot, but much better than standing under the boiling sun. The weather from October through May is very ideal in Phoenix, so pushing those months for tourism can be a good option. Summer months are very popular down in Florida, and so is spring break, but if this new hypothetical theme park for Phoenix could put more emphasis on these other months, like really doubling down on Halloween and Christmas time, it could become the counter-programming for Orlando. We all know that Universal has a stranglehold on the Halloween season, but with the demand for these types of events being so high, there is still plenty of room left in the market. I could see another Busch Gardens theme park doing well in Arizona, just use the natural beauty of the state to its advantage. If this park focuses on the months that I mentioned, I think this imaginary park has a lot of potential. Now, will this ever happen? I have no idea, but I can tell you one thing. If Mattel Adventure Park turns into a decent hit, expect to see more theme park projects coming to Arizona in the near future. Hopefully then, my desire for more good roller coasters in Arizona will be fulfilled. Until next time, this is X Cream Thrills.